was Carl Sagan? Carl Sagan was a lot of things. A philosopher, an author, a scientist, a genius, a nice guy. You could learn a lot of things from what he left behind. In case you don't know who Carl Sagan was, let's just say that, in his lifetime, he was an inspiration to a lot of people. And even to this day, almost 20 years later, I believe it's December 13th of 1996 that he passed away, or somewhere in December. But it's been almost 20 years. People still to this day are still talking about him. And if I haven't mentioned that he's buried in New York City, I forget exactly what town, I believe it starts with an L. It's 12 hours away from where I live. What I'm trying to say is, there's a lot of people that would want to go see him. Like, there's just that many people that to this day, all this time passes, and even to this day when time will pass in the future, there will be people that will still care about what this guy did. Because, much like Albert Einstein, the guy was, he dedicated his life to just bringing people together, and he proved it. He proved that, if you ask a lot of people in today's day and age, is it possible for, let's say, world peace, for example? Some people would say that that's impossible. There's always going to be conflict, and there's always going to be people that are trying to bring that upon. So it's like the never-ending war between good and evil. How it's always been, how it always will be. But, Carl Sagan proved that, you don't have to have conflict in order to get a point across. He proved that, you could study any subject, study it as much as you want, take your time with it, fly through it, but still enjoy it nonetheless. Or even if you're not trying to, you could still make so much progress that you would impress a lot of people with what you've done versus with what people think that was impossible. So for example, Carl Sagan was a human being. He wasn't an alien from another planet. He was just like you and me. But he dedicated his life to helping people out and bringing, and what he did was, he studied, he didn't leave any stone unturned, and, he liked to make even theories or stuff that, he studied, like, what was accurate, and then, he put it in a novel, he wrote about it, and a lot of people appreciated that because, he gave the world of science a really different way. He made learning fun for a lot of people. He also proved, well, I mean, if I haven't said it already, and obviously, he made everything possible, like what he did. He proved that you could take this infinite universe, bring people together, talk about every possibility of it, and, and if at first you don't succeed, try again, and we wouldn't have all these conflicts. He proved that anybody can do anything, and if anybody didn't believe that he could prove them wrong just right on the spot. And that's exactly how he was. He didn't care how different people were. He literally proved that, no matter what you believed, no matter who you were, no matter how different you were, you could literally do anything with the people that are around you. And that's why a lot of people respected him, even to this day. So Carl Sagan is, in my opinion, beyond a genius. Because he dedicated, not just dedicating his life, but he made sense of some of the complicated things, not like majority of the complicated things that a lot of people would probably scratch their head at first and maybe have to spend a lot of time thinking about before they come to the realization of what. See, Carl Sagan also proved that people shouldn't have been afraid to try new things, but at the same time, it's just like Albert Einstein once stated, people who haven't tried new things, or people who've never made mistakes have never tried new things, essentially. But, regardless of whether we believe that or not, we are always trying new things because that's just how the reality we live in works. We wake up every day, we try new things, we help people out, everybody's good. But, that's it. Carl Sagan put himself out there, and every day he made progress, and he wanted to go farther than what most people did. And he did it right. And he did it so good, and he did such a great job that, people appreciated him for that, and, he will always be remembered. If somehow, and again, I'm not trying to bring religion into this, but, if somehow, like, what's beyond the universe and infinite, if there's some sort of afterlife, because, again, I don't know. I'm not saying that there isn't one, but I just don't think humans are right about everything, except for what is accurate, but even that has all the questions and answers we still got to go for. So Carl Sagan also taught people that they shouldn't be afraid of what they don't know, because it's going to be here anyways. You know, we got to figure it out, though. But the question is, what is out there, though? You know, what is out there? You know, I don't know. The only thing that I can think about is, you know, is if it's anything the video game series Star Ocean or Star Trek and Star Wars have ever taught me, is that, you know, the only true way to figure it out is to go out there. We need to build machines that can fly across the universe, and we can find other planets, or build another telescope that, or really improve our magnification lens on the Hubble telescope. I mean, I know the Hubble telescope can see a long way, but, you know, but we're really not going to be able to know what else is out there if we don't see it. I mean, the universe is infinite. It's definitely not what people think it is. It's definitely a lot more advanced than that. But the question is, though, what though? What is out there? You know, regardless of what people believe, we gotta figure it out. Sorry, I hiccuped there for a second. But we just, you know, that's the best way to figure out how we can achieve history like that. Just flying across the universe, and or maybe even multiple universes. Maybe thousands of years from now, you know, we'll be able to see other people going into other dimensions somehow, while being immortal still, if there isn't an afterlife and we turn into like some sort of like spirit, if that makes sense. But again, you know, it doesn't have to be like what current religions say. You know what I mean? It could be anything. If there is such a thing, then I don't know. I want to say that there is something out there, because there's so many things that we don't know. Maybe that's just one of the things we don't fully understand, that there could be something out there. You know what I mean? I mean, like, think about it. You know, like, you know, people would say that when we die, that nothing happens because we haven't seen it before. But maybe it's a subject we don't understand because there's so many things out that we don't know. You know, so like you have a universe, for example, that's infinite. Like, there is no beginning, there is no end. Like, for example, but like when we die, that's just it. Like, I'm just not convinced that that's what happens. But at the same time, though, I'm not convinced that all religions are. And that's what Carl Sagan made me realize, that we should question everything, because it could make us, you know, like for example, think of it like this. You know, I talk to a lot of people that say that, you know, when we die, they think that's it. You might have heard the old saying, YOLO, you only live once. And maybe it's true. Maybe we only do live once, but then, or we only live once. Maybe we only do live once. But then maybe again, maybe we don't. Maybe like somehow, but again, I don't know. You know, I can't tell you because I haven't been there, and one, I don't have any physical evidence other than that. You know, maybe the answers are out there, you know what I mean, science, or just seeing, you know what I mean, but how would you prove that, though, you know, like for example, if like somebody died and you were there when they died, you couldn't see them going into an afterlife because like maybe their spirit is like an unidentified source of energy, or maybe it's just transported into another dimension, you know, like it sounds like fairy tale nonsense, but you know, it very well could be true, and at the same time, though, it's like no one really knows. It's just a theory. It's a hypothesis that people have tried to explain, but you know, we still have no luck. No one's proven it yet. And maybe that's the meaning of life. You know, we're not supposed to live forever in this life, but maybe like when we die, it's a test of some kind. But then again, no one knows. But it's definitely not going to be what humans think, because. And here's another question that, you know, made me realize something. What if there is life on other planets? What happens when they die? Same thing? Are they in the same boat we are? They're living on a planet, but they don't know we exist, we don't know they exist. What happens to us when we die, and what happens to other life forms when they die? They might have evolved differently, but surely their history might be somewhat similar to ours. How their planet was formed, and survival of the fittest.